Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Tuesday, July 16th. We will continue to have thunderstorms affect generally central and eastern areas of the Great Basin today and will be a mix of wet and dry with gusty outflow winds, similar to what we've been seeing the last couple of days with very spotty precipitation. We will see a little bit of an increase in winds today heading into tomorrow for the Sierra Front and northwest Nevada. Probably just a slight enhancement or just a typical zephyr across these areas, so gusts generally in the 20s with low relative humidity. We will also see a wave moving north through Northern California and Oregon, so we could see a few isolated dry thunderstorms today in far northwest Nevada, but most of that activity will be up into Oregon and California. On Wednesday, as this wave continues to track north, we will see an increase in drier lightning over parts of central and southwest Idaho into northern Nevada. Also, we will see winds increase a bit over southern and western areas of Nevada, and these winds will continue on Thursday in the south. We will see much drier conditions move into western Nevada as this wave moves north, with relative humidity dropping back down into the single digits. So even though isolated lightning is expected, we will be continuing to watch these areas in the north and west as those winds increase. Otherwise, thunderstorm potential pushes further east on Thursday. Over the last 24 hours, we've seen isolated to scattered thunderstorms over parts of central and eastern areas of the Great Basin and on the far west side in the Sierra. Again, precipitation has been spotty, with most areas only seeing a few hundredths of an inch, but there were some heavier spots of showers in parts of the eastern Uinta Mountains and also over parts of northern Nevada and in the far south, where some areas did get over a quarter of an inch. Yesterday, Great Basin fire activity, we saw 11 new fires for just over 449 acres, and still large fires scattered across the Great Basin with 839 acres of new growth. We did see a couple of new emerging fires here over northeast Nevada and northern Utah. Over the last 7 to 14 days, again, only very spotty precipitation in most areas, but many areas up in Idaho and even parts of Utah and Nevada saw no precipitation over the last 1 to 2 weeks. Even in northeast Arizona, for this time of year, very unusual to see minimal precipitation, as monsoons are typically quite active, but this year have been suppressed further south into Arizona, New Mexico, and east into Colorado. ERC percentiles continue to remain high in areas where we have some of our more significant large fires over parts of southwest Utah, into southern Utah, and even up into Idaho. But we have seen a little bit of a moderation of these ERCs just with the daily thunderstorms we've seen in some areas. Even with spotty precipitation, relative humidity did climb out of those single digits. In areas where we have some of our large fires in central Idaho, you can see ERCs are at maximums for the time of year and will likely remain fairly steady above the 80th or 90th percentile. And in southwest Utah, again, ERCs did climb well above our maximums, but will be coming down with some of the expected moisture, but still remaining high for the time of year. Satellite image from this morning shows this strong ridge of high pressure dominating the Four Corners area, allowing that moisture to seep north into the Great Basin. But again, it's nothing overly noteworthy. It's enough for thunderstorms and some spotty precipitation, but no really deep moisture for widespread wetting rains, unfortunately. You can see this little wave off the Northern California coast that will continue moving northeast across the Pacific Northwest and will be responsible for some isolated dry lightning today over northwest Nevada and then tomorrow in Idaho. Looking at the weather pattern for later today, again, that wave just continues moving north, triggering most of that lightning in Oregon, Northern California, but clipping northwest Nevada. So you can see the high risk is to our northwest. We did not high risk our area in northwest Nevada just because it will mostly be outside of our area, but really this far northwest corner of the Winnemucca district will be something to watch for any dry lightning later today. Relative humidity remains in the teens in most areas, with the exception of the higher elevations of Utah and Wyoming, where RHs are above 20%. You can see that slight increase in winds today along the Sierra Front with that zephyr, and otherwise you can see the potential for some gusty outflow winds with the potential for that lightning, again, really just skirting our border with North Ops and the Pacific Northwest. Also, thunderstorms continue further east, but again, will be more of what we've been seeing. Today, temperatures will remain mainly in the 90s in the lower elevations, and you can see our lightning potential, still some potential in the Sierra, but also that isolated lightning possible in northwest Nevada, and then the continuation of the thunderstorms we've been seeing in Utah and eastern areas of the Great Basin. As we move into Wednesday, this area of low pressure off the west coast, that weak wave tracks north up into Washington. So again, triggering those thunderstorm potential in Idaho. So we do have high risks for that lightning. Again, even if it's isolated, still being on the drier side, fuels are very critical up north in areas that really haven't seen much rainfall, and fire danger, again, very critical. And you can see matching our neighbors to the north. Relative humidity remains in the teens, but you can see this dry pocket of air that really moves into northwest Nevada with RHs dropping into the single digits. Again, with a little bit of an increase in wind there, most of those gusts in the teens and 20s. But if we do see any lightning today, that would be something to watch with that much drier air potentially allowing those fires to really become active. And then you can see, again, just lighter winds overall, some breezy winds in southern Nevada, but really no large fires in that area, so not a huge concern. But again, gusty outflow winds with any lightning. Temperatures increase a bit, now peaking over 100 degrees on Wednesday for the Boise area, 100 degrees for Salt Lake. So again, temperatures will be gradually on the rise. Wednesday, you can see the better lightning potential is in northeast Nevada up into Idaho, and that's really our biggest concern going into Wednesday, with other thunderstorms continuing further east, still being near our large fires, so still expect the potential for lightning, possibly some brief rainfall and gusty outflow winds near our large fires in southwest and southern Utah and over into northeast Utah. On Thursday, we will continue more of the same. The better lightning potential gets shifted a little bit further east with drier conditions in western Nevada. No high risk, as again, this will be more of what we've been seeing, but still the potential for new large fires and gusty outflow winds and lightning, brief rainfall affecting our existing large fires. On Thursday, again, more teens and single-digit relative humidity in the basin, and some breezy winds over southern and eastern Nevada into southwest Utah on Thursday. So we may see, again, a little bit more wind than we have been seeing the last couple days in our large fires in southwest Utah. Obviously, a lot of gusty outflow winds with that lightning continuing. Temperatures continue to rise on Thursday, 103 for Boise, and that temperature, the thunderstorm potential shifts mainly over the eastern half of the Great Basin. You can see from the 3-day precipitation, still expecting that spotty precipitation anywhere in Nevada, Utah, or northern Utah, Idaho, really for any of those thunderstorm activity. The better chances of any brief wetting rain will be in the higher terrain of Utah and down into Arizona. On Friday, the ridge just continues dominating. Drier air does push into the northern half of the Great Basin, so we'll likely see a brief reduction in thunderstorm activity, but temperatures continue to climb for hotter temperatures. This continues into Saturday and Sunday. And then by Monday, we may see a reemergence of some of that moisture pushing north. We'll continue to watch our significant fire potential, right now remaining moderate or moderate to high, but we will see if we get any additional moisture going into the early part of next week. So temperatures, again, continue to heat up. On Friday, we'll see lots of areas in the lower elevations in the upper 90s or low 100s. But then by Sunday, most areas in lower elevations above 100 degrees, 107 for Boise. So just really hot temperatures, especially on the western and north side of the Great Basin going into the weekend and early next week. 7-day precipitation, you can see a little bit more precipitation moving up into northwest Arizona and southern Utah. So we'll be hopeful for a little bit of a potential of some wetting rains in areas that we really need it, where our large fires are in the south. But again, don't hold your breath. That remains to be seen. We've seen just moisture in the Great Basin be very limited. And anywhere north and west, again, more spotty with precipitation. The 8 to 14-day outlook, taking us from July 23rd to the 29th, still shows hot temperatures for the Great Basin, and the only real good potential of any moisture still remains in the far south. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back tomorrow for the latest updates.